Art of Fire and Iron, Mongolian Saber.
What's up, everybody? This is Vincent Sung, the Wandering Warrior. Now, you guys know I'm into Mongolian wrestling, I'm into Mongolian archery, Manchurian archery, the Ming and Qing dynasty martial arts, and the Chinese martial arts and boxing that came out of that. Well, let's go a little further back, right? This here is an Art of Fire and Iron Mongolian saber, and it's based upon something I believe is from the Yuan dynasty. So that's when the Mongols took over China and many other parts of the world. And it's still debated to this day whether it's to be considered a Chinese dynasty or not, but China was ruled by the Mongols. Now, this type of saber is representative of the Turco-Mongol saber from the medieval era, the 1200s, early 1300s, early Ming dynasty. They were still using these types of sabers, and I want you guys to get a little closer and really get a look at this thing. Come here. So you'll notice on the weapons, I think of the late Liao and Jurchen Jin dynasties, as well as the Song dynasty, they started adding these metal reinforcements to the scabbard. This is really cool stuff, right? We have this lacquered scabbard, lacquered black, with this metal reinforcement on it, and we see this carried over to the Yuan dynasty, again when the Mongols were in control of China. This blade is, very gently curved, as you can see, right? It almost looks like a double-edged sword, like a jin. However, you see the curvature, you see that it's a saber. It's sort of the beginnings of almost like a yelman, like we see on later Turkic sabers. Double-edged point at the tip, but a curved body. It's oiled, so just keep that in mind. Tunko here, and the guard is quite interesting because it is a cross guard in terms of its profile, but then when you get closer and you take a look, it's got these lobes on it, right? This is quite different. Here we're starting to add a little more protection to the fingers. Okay. The hilt has just got a very gentle curve, as we see on a lot of Turco-Mongol sabers of the era. Nothing crazy like that. It doesn't cant downwards like a lot of shamshirs that we see later in Persia and Central Asia. Still relatively simple in that sense. Almost an elliptical or oval cross section. Take a look at this here, right? We can see these look almost like the minuki on a katana, right? But it's going over the wraps. And we've got this loop here, so you can attach some kind of lanyard. And that aids in retention when you slip your hand through the lanyard and use the saber. Helps you not lose it in battle, right? So, pretty cool stuff. Why don't we take a quick look at the blade? So, if we clean this off a bit, clean the oil off, just want to keep it from rusting. You can see the patterning. Art of Fire and Iron has really done a beautiful job for the body of this sword. Look at that. Looks like almost like oil on water, right? Quite a beautiful thing. Now this Tunko is quite interesting. You see this, I think it's called habaki on a Japanese sword. You see this feature on ancient swords throughout Eurasia being spread by the Turco-Mongol peoples. And it allows for a really snug fit in the scabbard. We take a close look at that. Right. Allows for a really snug fit in there. Right. Right. And so you can imagine with these type of fittings, there's rainwater coming down, the guard and the interface between the fittings and the fact that you got this tunko here kind of keep it a little more sealed from the elements. Protects your blade while you're on campaign. Now, if we stand up, I put this belt loop on. I'm not sure the exact suspension system used in the Yuan dynasty and early Ming dynasty, but it seems like they were developing things like the belt loop. And you can see if I had a belt or a sash here, it'd be a little more secure. This allows me to move around and essentially go about my daily life. It's not too much of a worry, right? I can keep my hand on this, steady it, I can hold it, I can draw. right? But it seems that oftentimes what people will do is just take this whole unit off, boom, pull it out, shed the scabbard, boom, ready to fight, right? So let's move around with this thing and let's see how it feels. All right, time for me to work on my cutting technique, and we'll also get to see how good this edge is right out the box, as they say. All right, let's have that. Nice.
In Mongol or Mongolian, the language, the word for saber or sword is ild, or salum, salum. Now, ilt and salum both mean swords. In this case, we're talking about a saber. Sabers were heavily used by the Turco-Mongol people, and with their conquests and migrations, they spread this weapon technology from east to west. So we see everyone from the Roman Byzantine Empire to the whole Middle East, the entire Pontic steppe, Central Asia, all of China, and most of East Asia, at least continentally, and eventually South Asia as well, adopt some form of the saber. It was a super successful weapon design. Now, the story of the saber and its origins, that's a video for another time. In order to do it justice, I would definitely need to spend a whole video just focusing on that. But safe to say, this saber, made by Art of Fire and Iron, this Mongol saber it's a joy to cut with. And I look forward to spending years with this thing, perfecting my technique. It's quite nice in the hand, I must say. I like it a lot. Once I am far more confident in my cutting technique and in horse riding as well, I hope to combine these two together and start trying to cut things off horseback. But that's for another day and another video.
Yeah, I quite like it. Art of Fire and Iron. I'm not sure, what particular archaeological dig or antique they acquired or studied, but it's a beautiful blade. As you can see, it's been already used and worn by me, but it's nice. It's quite nice. I would say, the fit and finish is fairly well done. Can it be better? Yeah, a lot of things can be better, but for the price you pay, a lot of times these improvements are marginal, right? Marginal value. Overall, a finely executed saber from the Yuan Dynasty era. Yuan Dynasty. As far as the balance, I mean, it feels like a blade meant to fulfill multiple roles, right? Perhaps it's something that you wear at your side, short enough for self-defense. It's right there. Just long enough that if you're on horseback, you're riding out, you kind of lean and you can touch somebody, right? Pop, pop. I don't have a lot of experience with the equestrian martial arts, so I won't comment too much further on that. But having done horse riding, having rode Mongol horses for days on end, I mean, yeah, you can pretty much do that. And on foot, you know, back in the day, especially while they were using shields, right? This is quite effective and maneuverable for that. A few things I noticed about the design. It's quite handy. It's not necessarily the most optimized cutter. It's actually kind of, like I was saying before, kind of like a curved jian. It's a cut and thrust sword with a little more optimization for cutting, but not fully optimized for cutting only. And I think that's for good reason. The Yuan dynasty was following the Song dynasty, and from Tang to Jurchen Jin to Liao to Song dynasties, we see the heights of East Asian armor. Lamellar, lamellar, right? It's only in the Ming dynasty that we start seeing frequent use of brigandine, and then later into the Qing dynasty. So, you know, with lightly armored opponents or exposed flesh or clothing, you know, the cutting is going to be very effective. But into the gaps in the armor, or to finish off downed opponents, I suspect that that's what this tip is for. Right? Yeah, really, really cool stuff. I like it quite a bit. Yeah, this is a fantastic piece. I'm probably hold on to this for some time. You know, as interested as I am in all these inner Asian, Mongolian type martial arts. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I would really appreciate if you guys also check out my Patreon and support my journey, my wandering. Because of your support, your sponsorship, your viewership, that I am able to continue doing this stuff. So I'd really appreciate any kind of support you guys can give. In any case, that's it for now. We're going to do a lot more with this guy, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you for joining me on my journey. I salute yours.